authorities, and while the individual depicted in a mask and backpack and gloves is not characterized as a suspect, the authorities now have at least one image to go on.
And I want to bring in retired FBI agent and ABC News contributor Richard Frankel. Richard, how big is this development? How significant is this? And where does the investigation go from here?
Yeah, as Aaron just said, this is the biggest development of the investigation in that they do have pictures now that, while not confirming she was taken, but confirming that there was a masked individual immediately before the time that she went missing. So, as you look at this investigation, it would lead me to believe that this was the person, at least, that was involved in some capacity in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And that's just, based upon my observation of what we're seeing. Also, it's hard to make out, is this a man? Is this a woman? Anything more about that. But you can see the eyes. You can see a little bit of the mouth. There are also programs out there, AI-generated techniques that are available to the FBI and to other law enforcement, that they may be able to start getting more information about who this person is. They're going to be taking that picture and they're going to be putting it through every single configuration that they have of every database they have to see if there's anything more that they can get from this picture. They're also going to be looking at the clothing. They're going to be looking at everything associated with these pictures to see if there's anything more that can take them to their next lead. But I think this is a great job by the FBI and by law enforcement. They did not just move on from prior leads. They kept working it just like they do on these major investigations, and they were able to come up with this evidence.
And Aaron, they're not calling this person a suspect, but the FBI director does say this person was armed.
And I don't see a specific weapon just looking in the small version of these images, Diane, but that's what the FBI director says. And in looking just at the mask and the gloves and the backpack, and my God, you think how terrified Nancy Guthrie may have been, assuming she confronted this individual in her home at about 2 o'clock in the morning after a game night and dinner with her family at her daughter Annie's house nearby. We know that the FBI has also been scrutinizing other cameras here at the house. We spotted them on the roof, looking at rooftop cameras that were part of Nancy Guthrie's home security system. So perhaps the hope is they'll be able to recover additional images in addition to the ones that appear to be from the doorbell camera, previously inaccessible to authorities for a variety of reasons, they say. But the hope is to try and build out a much larger profile of this individual. Even though they're not calling the person a suspect, it is the best images authorities and the public now have to go on, Diane.
And so many now hoping that they will lead them to Nancy Guthrie. Aaron, Brad, Richard, thank you all. And investigators are asking anyone with any information related to this case to call either one of those two tip lines on your screen. And we will have much more on ABC News Live and abcnews.com. And David will be back with the whole team from World News Tonight with more on this story later this evening. I'm Diane Macedo. Right now, we'll return to your regular programming. Have a great rest of the day.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Private sector, presumably.
Yeah, Jamie, so the FBI is saying that those images show a person appearing to tamper with Nancy Guthrie's doorbell. If you remember, a key part of this investigation that they announced last week was that somebody removed her Ring doorbell, possibly to prevent something like this, photos of this individual getting leaked out or getting to law enforcement. But just moments ago, we saw FBI Director Kash Patel post those images on social media. I want to go ahead and show you what exactly they look like, because right now One, a person with a ski mask looking to be maybe looking over the doorway and the doorbell. The second is a closer image where you can see this person is wearing a ski mask. The second, you could see the person's hand possibly reaching towards that doorbell. And then the other one is a closer look of that person in a mask. I want to read you that post that just came from FBI Director Kash Patel. He said, over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of these recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our partners, as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance, and then they post asking for tips. Again, the FBI now classifying this as an individual appearing to be armed. We can see this person is wearing a ski mask, but at this point, this is the biggest break we have seen in this case in day 10 of the search for Nancy Guthrie. Pima County deputies saying they believe she was abducted from her home here in Tucson in the early morning hours of Sunday, February 1st. And we can see right now a number of people have arrived. There's, of course, a lot of reporters here on scene in Nancy's neighborhood with the announcement of this news. But this is easily the biggest break we have seen yet in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. They're not classifying this person as a person of interest right now. We don't know if this is a man or a woman. We can just go off of what we're seeing in those images from the doorbell that were posted by FBI Director Kash Patel. Right now, still so many questions about who exactly this person could be, saying that this person was armed. We don't know what kind of weapon this person may have had at the time, but we do know that Nancy Guthrie's blood was found on the front patio area of her home earlier that week, and they could see as well that night there was other evidence of a struggle. The FBI, Pima County deputies not going into a lot of detail for that, but we're showing you the images. Once again, you could see that person on Nancy Guthrie's front patio wearing a mask, appearing to tamper with that Ring doorbell. And all of that coincides with what deputies had told us last week, that somebody had removed that Ring doorbell, possibly to prevent images from getting leaked of this person, to do this in the cover of darkness as well. We're going to stay out here as we process these images and work to get more information from the FBI. We will continue to follow up and let you know what else we're finding out in just a few minutes, Jamie.
Yeah, Nick, to reiterate here again, the FBI not calling this person a suspect, but right now these are the best images that we now have to go off on. You've been speaking with a lot of neighbors in that neighborhood over the past week or so, Nick. So now that they see these images, the hope is this can bring these investigators one step closer to finding Nancy Guthrie. We appreciate your reporting out there. We'll be checking back in with you again in just a little bit. And we do want to remind our viewers that we here at ABC 15 will be following all of the very latest when it comes to these breaking news developments with our continuing coverage both on air and online at abc15.com. Stick with us. That planning ahead can really help families respond quickly if something does go wrong. He also says that planning can take many forms, including regular check-ins, clear emergency plans, and also making sure trusted neighbors or friends know when to speak up if something just doesn't seem right.
I think aggregating